Good morning, everyone. Brian here with BMK Retro Gaming. This morning I have a review for you guys of the ColecoVision original library game, Popeye. Now, it was developed originally in 1982 by Nintendo and published by them as the arcade cabinet original. And, well, he may not be as much these days, but especially back then, Popeye was still a very popular character, so the arcade cabinet original did pretty well. And then in 1983, it was ported over to various platforms, including the ColecoVision, which all the non-Nintendo ports were done, by Parker Brothers and distributed by them. And they did a pretty good job, I think. Anyway, the game has some interesting history, including the fact that what would eventually become Nintendo's Donkey Kong, well, they had started out wanting to do as Popeye. But King Syndicate Features Incorporated, which held the rights to Popeye, and I think still does, I don't know about that one for sure, didn't really think much of video games at the time, so they couldn't get the license at first, and, well, Donkey Kong is a reworking of the concept. So that's a little bit of an interesting thing there. Of course, later on, after seeing that the concept with things like Donkey Kong could work and all, they got convinced to allow Nintendo to do Popeye, and the rights were licensed out. Anyway, it's a pretty good game generally. You have 3 different stages to each level, and then it loops back around. Anyway, I have the game to emulate via my ColecoVision Phoenix, so I'm going to go ahead and get that set up, and we're going to take a look into some gameplay. There we go. Okay, so there's some interesting. Just going to go for game 1. It's just a simple enough joystick to move, and your side fire buttons to punch. Though, interestingly enough, one of the things that this game does not involve is jumping, which is a bit unusual for a platformer. Also, the character of Bluto, or Brutus as he is known here, well, he was renamed to Brutus, which is, in a way, not all that unusual, because if you look into the history of it all, Brutus was an alternate name for him that was used depending, instead of Bluto, depending on the era of the franchise that one is talking about. Oops. I'm not going to let him do me that way. That's what I get for trying to talk to you guys at the same time as trying to play the game. Yeesh. No big deal, it doesn't take too long to restart. Also, Brutus was an alternate name, depending on the era of the franchise one was talking about. And, it's a name for him that a lot of people might not be familiar with, but, like I said, depending on the era of the franchise for Popeye, either Brutus or Bluto was used. Another interesting part about that is that, they were considered kind of interchangeable at times. In that, well, there was at one point, I think it was a comic crossover where both Brutus and Bluto show up at one time for some reason. Get the spinach and you can chase him down and knock him out. Okay, I did it the wrong way. Sheesh. But they both showed up at the same time for the first time ever. And it was explained that the two are actually identical twin brothers who both apparently have a thing for olive oil, don't like Popeye, and just hadn't shown up at the same time before. Ironically. And that kind of bridged the gap, but yeah, the name Brutus is otherwise usually one of the alternate names used for him as a character. Just depending on the era of the franchise being spoken of at the time. Basically, here what you're trying to do is collect the hearts Olive is throwing down to Popeye. Not such a hard task in a way, but you're not going to get away with it so easy. Brutus is going to try and beat the tar out of you. That he can. Though he usually fails with that pretty badly. At least if you have enough brains to avoid him. Have to watch for the hearts coming down to the water. They stay there for too long and sink, and so do you. And hitting him on the head with the basket like that is one way to, keep him out of your hair for a short time. And that's all there is to the first stage. In the second one, you have to catch notes which Olive is throwing to you. And there's Sweet Pea there who well, you'll see after a while, Sweet Pea is one of your ways to get back up top when you need to. As such. Oh! I had no idea that he was going to... Then again, he can be a major pain. Kind of like with the hearts, you want to go for the notes before they end up drowning on you if they get down to the bottom. And use your punch to keep the CX bottles from being your undoing. Ah, I hate that. Of course, it's one of the risks you take by staying on any one level for too long at one time. Big jerk's gonna come at you no matter what you do. And then, of course, you move on to the third stage. And, of course, you don't get much help with this. To be honest with you guys, I played this multiple times, but, this, last one with the, all of this, I've never been good at that. Anyway, I think you guys get the idea with the gameplay. Anyway, in that part, you're trying to catch letters which spell out the word help from Olive. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that was Popeye, a 1983 original library game for the ColecoVision. I think I mentioned it was really the port was done in '83. Anyway, it's a pretty good game. As I said, it was notable among many other platformers at the time because it doesn't have a jump feature. You punch, not jump. And it proved to be pretty popular and was a good idea. It's nice that King Feature Syndicate Incorporated finally decided to license it all out. I guess if not for seeing the success of Donkey Kong and realizing that that's kind of what Nintendo had in mind, they might not have done it. But it's better for every overall that they did. Anyway, my preferred YouTubers: 65 Gamer Guy. John Hancock has a comparison contrast video of this with it, or well, maybe not comparison contrast, but showing off every port he owns, including this one. Retro Sutra, or Sutra, I forget which one. Slopes Game Room. The Dot Eaters has another comparison contrast video with pretty much, I forget if it says various ports or all of them. And Patman QC, the history of arcade game documentaries, has a nice video featuring the history of the Popeye in video games, including this port. So that's about 6 different videos for you guys to take a look into, which if you're itching for more Popeye, you shouldn't be lacking for it with these. Anyway, I will also include a link to the Wikipedia article so that you guys who would care to read up on it further can go ahead and do that. Anyway, that's it for this week's review, with the exception of the Homebrewer Prototype review coming up Saturday, as usual. Yes, as of the since I made the announcement with the channel update that this Sunday, that's when we started making the changeover. But if you notice I haven't been posting daily anymore, you would have already known that. Anyway, if you enjoy my channel's content, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't hesitate to leave any questions, comments, or suggestions please don't hesitate to leave any questions, comments, or suggestions down in the comment section below. Getting a bit tongue-tied today. You guys take care, have a good morning, and I will see you again in my next video.